cannot do.
Does not exist.
My name is Esijamide Owumi, and I have come to say thank you to Elroy, the God that sees me. 2010, I gave birth to my first child. Fast forward to 2013. 2013, I got pregnant again. 6 months after, I began to suffer complications. 8 months, they had to take the baby out. And 1 month later, the baby died. Fast forward again to 2017. I got pregnant again. 6 months into the pregnancy, complications. 8 months into the pregnancy, the baby died in my womb. It was as if my world froze. Meanwhile, my first child was growing year by year. And then he would go to school and come back and say, Mom, during break, my classmates go to the crèche to see their siblings. When will I have my own siblings? I would cry. Since we've gone to the hospitals, and then the doctor said, Oga, you are fine, no? Madam, you are perfectly okay. What is the problem now is that this is an issue of unexplained infertility. Fast forward to January 1st, 2023. I had a dream where I saw Papa. And I said, Papa, I have a child. But I've been trying to, before I continued, he placed his hand on my womb. And then Papa said, you are already pregnant. I held on to that word. And then I remember Papa always saying, pick a date. I picked a date. I picked 20th of April, 2023. To the glory of God. I started feeling funny. I said, let me even check and just carry out a pregnancy test at home. I was very tired of going to the lab, because when I go to the lab, they'll tell you, Madam, it's negative. If I got to a point where I'll tell them, just send the result to my phone. I do not wait. And then I've done a lot and a lot of home pregnancy tests. That very day, I said, let me just try. And then I checked. Being that one line has stuck to my brain, even though it was 2 lines. When I did it, I looked and I threw it. I said negative. As I got to the door of my toilet, something asked me to go back. And I went back. And I saw 2 lines. I wanted to be very sure. I did it again. This time around, I was looking at it. I saw 2 lines, to the glory of God. And then I remembered and went back to where I wrote the date. And I saw that it was 20th of April. 2 weeks into the pregnancy, I woke up. I couldn't see. I got blind. When you say blind, I wasn't seeing anything, but my eyes were open. My husband took me to the toilet and tried to wash my face. Immediately, water touched my face. My eyes began to burn. My husband began to pray. The only thing I remembered to say was, what God cannot do does not exist. And immediately, the program started. Papa said, every carryover of negativity.
No negative carryover. No negative carryover. You will not carry over affliction. You will not carry over disease.
And then we said amen. And then my husband took water again and washed my face. It was as if they blew cold breeze into my eyes. And my eyes opened. On the 20th of November, I gave birth to my child. The devil did not stop there. Exactly 1 month after I gave birth, we were on the altar of fire that morning, my husband and I, in the room. We've not come out. And then my mother came to my room and said, I cannot find Daniel. And I said, that was my first one I had in 2010. And I said, you can't find Daniel. Like, check his room. And she said, no, he's not there. And then we began to look for Daniel. The whole of the estate. This is an estate where you want to come in, you have to call whoever you're coming to see inside. But this time around, did my son walk out of the estate without nobody knowing or seeing him? I went to the police station the following day. 3 days later, on the altar of fire, Papa declared, and he said, your son has been missing. He is alive, he is not dead. Your son will be found.
There's a family, I hear your prayer in my ear. As I called, your child is missing. I don't know who that family is, but the Lord said that child is not dead. That child is not dead. And I decree, wheresoever that this child is held, by the message of God, I announce, let this child be released right now.
In fact, when I went to the police station one day, the woman said, the very day your son was missing, a child was involved in an accident. Do you mind seeing the child? I said, okay, let me go to the hospital. I got to the hospital, and then the nurses said, the child is dead. Or you want to check? I said, not my child. The very day that Daniel was not found, I was on the fire altar declaring to the earth. I said, I don't have to go there because my child is alive. And I went home. And then I remembered that he was a member of the Trailblazers, the teens church. I contacted them and I said, this is what is happening. They came to the house. They came on a Sunday. They said that Papa asked them to tell me that my child was going to be found. That I should not forget that Daniel's case was mentioned twice on the altar of fire. And I said, yes, that's true. And I stopped crying that day to the glory of God. On Sunday, they came. Monday, Tuesday. On Wednesday, my son was brought back home. Unharmed. Daniel got back home. Unharmed. I have come to give this God praise. Elroy, Elroy, Elroy. The God that sees me. What God cannot do. What God cannot do. Papa, thank you, son. You have raised people to pray and to stand, Gidigba. We go nowhere. Nothing missing.